Hello everybody, welcome back. I've been putting off doing the brakes on the Coachmen, but I need to get them done. So a couple of things the last couple of things I'm going to need is back in the garage. I need my blocks out from underneath the truck. So those lower ones, the biggest ones, I like to use those instead of jack stands. Even the jack stands are tied up on this job, and you know this has been an ongoing project for a long time. There's nothing really available because the Dodge's got them tied up. So I need to get the blocks out of there, but I need to still support the truck. So what am I going to do? Now, I have another set of jack stands. They're just not here. I figured the cheap solution, we came down to Lowe's, is maybe I'll pick up a couple of concrete blocks, you know, for $2.37. I think I'm going to grab a couple of those. And I think for $1.84 each, I'm going to get a couple of the 4-inch thick cap blocks. So, probably for, less than 10 bucks. Plus I'm going to use a 2x on top of that too. I think I'll free up both blocks. Or maybe one block in the jack stand, or whatever. I can get some of my stuff back, okay? Let me get my little truck loaded up here. And yeah, it came to a whopping $9.01. Wow, look at that load. Talk about a heavy hauler, huh? I stopped over here to get my jack stands. Okay, a pair of jack stands. And I hit the jackpot. I got 4 nice hunks of 4x4. That's good for jacking up vehicles and supporting them. I dug them out of the scrap pile. Okay, so now that I rounded up all that stuff and I have my blocks back out from underneath the truck in the 4x4s, I much prefer using good solid wooden blocks. I really don't trust jack stands even when I pick my other ones up. The trouble like this, jack stands are just kind of, I wouldn't rely on those solely, that's for sure. These can't fail, these can't crush or tip, or, I mean, unless you're on a crazy hillside, things can happen. But we're not too bad here as far as being somewhat level here. These will be great. These will work great. And I have my air jack out. Another hunk of 4x4 underneath the control arm. Lifted it up a bit in here. Oh yeah, that makes jacking things up easy. But let it back down onto the frame here, and get this wheel off. And here's how the truck ended up. I've replaced those, got my blocks out. So I put that new cement block down first, then the 4-inch capstone, piece of 2x10, and the jack stand. So that's gonna be a nice solid setup for the truck can sit on these for a while. Now I can get back to the Coachmen. This would probably be a good time too to give these a good cleaning while they're off. Maybe, we'll see. These are just the push-on types. They just come off real easy. Just grab them gently with channel locks, and these all come off. So we'll and then we'll hit it with that TMG. TMG is the brand, 1/2-inch drive impact TMG brand, with the 1-inch impact socket on it. So that should get these off there pretty easily. All right, let's have us see what happens here. Oh yeah, like it's nothing. Come on, get on there. Yeah, and I travel with this, so if I gotta change a tire, well, I don't have my air jack with me. If I gotta change a tire, I can get my bottle jack and put it back under there and do it that way. But at least getting these things back off is so much easier having some power tools along. So let me get this off. I hope not to run into any surprises here with I don't think it's. I think the brake pads could just use some fresh ones on it. I don't like Oops, the wind blew the door shut. I know it had new rotors and bearings and grease the last time the brakes were done on this, and because I towed the car behind it, these brake pads probably got a little overtaxed with the extra towing. I don't know. We got enough miles on it, and with the towing, I thought, you know what, for as cheap as pads are, I just want to throw some fresh pads on it before we travel again. You know, if they get more, oh no, my power pressure monitoring thing's got to come off for the hubcap to come off. All right, I gotta go get the little wrench. I gotta get that off of there. But yeah, so it had new bearings, seals, all greased up, new rotors. I don't know if the calipers are brand new or not, but they don't stick or anything. Nothing weird going on there. But I'm just curious to see how worn those pads are. But it doesn't matter if they're a little, you know, 70% still there or 50%. It doesn't matter if there's still life left in them or not. It's getting fresh ones. Something I won't have to worry about for quite a while. Well, so far so good. That braking surface feels, you know, it shows that there's been a pad rubbing on it, but there's no ridge. No ridge really to speak of there. So they're not worn. Not bad. These were new not too awful long ago. Yeah, it's cast iron. They do get rusty. So this is the part that matters. And, well, it all matters. So. Let me get this this brake caliper off of here. It just has this one. That's gonna be hard to see. Yeah, it just has this one bolt here. I don't know if that's a 1/4 inch Allen wrench or whatever. Take that out, and then this piece knocks out of here. So this was not too tight. Sometimes the time you get that to break loose with an Allen wrench, man, when it lets loose, it snaps, kind of stings your hand with an Allen wrench, and yeah, that's what it was a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. So next thing's gonna be, I'm gonna tap that piece out with I got a punch and a hammer. It just goes tap, 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 and knock that out, and then this will be loose. A little bit more. There, that and a little spring, kind of a spring clip goes on top of that. Something like that. All right, I'll set this aside for now. All right, I gotta get you guys out of the way here for a minute because I need to. If it was a little car, if it was a Fiesta, they're small, light, you can take it off with one hand. This is a little bigger and heavier duty. It's and thick. That's gonna take two. It's gonna take both hands to reach in there and grab that thing. All right, we need a little persuasion here. Just because it's bulky, has a little bit of drag. Has a little bit of drag on the brake things. Oh, come on, there we go. Huh. What's going on here? Some kind of little spider's nest or something was in here for a while. Wow, these I feel kind of silly replacing them. They do look nice and thick, but better safe than sorry. I'm gonna throw fresh ones in it while I'm here. They're only 40 bucks for the set for both sides. This one here is getting near halfway, I'll bet. I don't know, we can compare them with the new ones. Well, I somehow ended up with the wrong pads. Like these are, this is part of why I hate working on stuff anymore. But, okay, one pad's definitely bigger than the other, right? And these are all basically, all four are the same length. And these have these holes in them. These are for standard brakes, and these are for heavy duty brakes. So, got it on his own. Already got it handled. We're going to pick up the exchanges for the right ones at about 5 o'clock here in a little while. Now, the crazy thing is, I called and said, someone by the name of John answered. That's nothing against John's, but this particular John doesn't do his job very well. I said, so I called and I just acted like we're just starting from scratch, okay? I said, I need brake pads. I say for 1987 Chevrolet P30 chassis, front disc brakes. Looks them up and he says, yeah, I don't have them. It'll take probably a week or so to get them in. Well, I'd already looked it up on their website. I had the information in front of me. I'm sitting in front of my laptop. And it says right here, okay, those are the ones I have, is the MKD 153. And it's weird, it's like the price is backwards. This is for standard brakes for only, or for $37.99. But when you click on it and open it up, it says, it says it's for standard brakes. And when you click on it and open up this one, it says for heavy duty brakes, only $29.99. And these definitely have the bigger pad. See, these have those holes in it, and these do not. And it says right here, not available at my local store, but pick up at 24 nearby stores. So 24 other stores in this part of Pennsylvania has them. And he says, oh, it'll take a week. You know, like you go to order them from some out of the country warehouse. Well, so that's not the case. I had to think about that. Let me open that one up. Come on. Oh, is my internet off? Okay, where does it say, yeah, with heavy duty brakes? Okay, so, and these are the right ones. They have, you can see right here, you know, the one is definitely, I'm going to the other picture, two of them are definitely bigger than the other two. So these are, that's for one side and that's for the other side. So these are the right ones for heavy duty brakes, and they're cheaper. It's just weird that they have the, maybe they figure they sell more of the standard brakes, okay, so they make more money. They don't sell as many of these. Maybe that's why that price is inflated. Anyway, so I gave a couple minutes. I'm thinking, wait, and the guy kept repeating. I says, can you double check that? Can you just do a search on MKD 149? And he said MKP. I says, no, MKD. And then he said some other number. I'm like, no, MKD 14. And he's like, yeah, no, I don't have them. I'm like, I understand you don't have them. I says, but it looks like you have 24 nearby stores that do. Right? He said, no. He says, nobody has them. I'm like, okay, thanks then. And he hung up. So I had to think about it for a minute. So I gave it a couple of minutes, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to just call back the same store. Hopefully somebody else answers the phone. And somebody else did answer the phone. And he looked it up real quick. He says, yeah. He says, yeah, I don't have them, but I can have them here by 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh, great. He says, well, he says the store down the road has them. It's not too far away. I could run down there. He says, if you need to run away, he says, you can just run down there and get them, or I can have them here by 5. I said, no, 5 o'clock's great. So I'm going to go pick them up a little bit later. I just hate when, never mind. All right, we'll have a little pause, and we'll get back on the job. Okay, we're back with another box of brake pads. A little bit later in the day. I just went to AutoZone and ran up and got some groceries, got those put away. And let's see. Yeah, it is definitely getting later in the day. I might still put these on this evening. Maybe I'll do it first thing in the morning. We'll resume the video then. I got washed up and stuff. Might make some dinner instead. So that is like that one. Oh, those are, we'll get them out and look at them. Yeah, there's definitely some wear on that. And then this is, looks like that one. All right, I think we got the right ones this time. Well, these are definitely, of course, the new ones are definitely thicker than the old ones. But there's still a lot of life left in those. I could have certainly run those a little bit longer. Heck, I probably could have gone across the country and back on those and they've been all right, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they're 50% worn. But they got somewhere on them. And these are, same thing. I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't bother me to run those maybe one more trip out and back. Trouble is you get out the road. Okay, so now if you have another, if that's gone by a half again, or a third, or 2/3 of that's gone, whatever. You know, you're out the road. You never know. You might extend your trip. You might hit a few more mountains than you expected. You might take a different route and go through a more mountainous region. And I would rather do this. Put fresh pads on it. Yeah, actually, these were only $29. What? How much are these? I don't know. I think it was $29. Yeah. You know what? I've been out on the road before in the Bounder, and a couple of brakes started getting thin and squealing, and I'm glad I stopped and got them done. It cost me $400. I think that happened out in Oregon. Yeah, brakes started squeaking and squealing and acting up, feeling a little funny, and they were getting pretty thin. And 2 of them were like almost completely gone, where it would have been metal to metal and would have ruined the brake rotors. So I'm glad I stopped. It would have been more. If I would have kept going, it would have ruined the rotors or scored them up. I had them machined or replaced, and then the brake job gets a lot more expensive all of a sudden. So. You know, I knew they needed looked at, and that was pretty reasonable. That garage only charged me $400. Jack the Bounder all up, take all the wheels off of it, front and back, put all new brake shoes the whole way around it, whatever. And $400 later, that was reasonable. But the inconvenience of finding a garage, it could have went the other way. I could have found a garage that said, "Oh, you know, charge double," or whatever they wanted to. I got lucky and found a good garage. So anyway, I would rather just do this here, put fresh ones on it, and that way I'm not kind of risking it. I'm pretty confident I could have gone with those ones, another trip out and back, but better safe than sorry. I got to put brand new ones on. I know I can go out and wander around and change plane, not have to worry about my brakes at all. So that's why we do. That's why I do these every summer. I think that's what I do, pretty much. Okay, I did use my clamp there, and I depressed the piston all the way back in. The seal all looks good around it. The brake hose, the rubber brake hose, I inspected it, make sure it didn't have any cracks or anything on it. It still has the proper clamping. The cable's been around a while, but I don't see any cracks or anything in it. So a big blob of grease, maybe, from the lower side of this ball joint. Yeah, I probably need to grease all that stuff too here. Anyway, piston's back in. Everything else is looking good. We'll get the pads on here. Get this back together. It's all back on. Got the that clip that slides in there with the spring. Put the bolt back in it. Tightened it up. Everything's in place. That is an inspection window there. I don't know what you can see in the dark there, but they're in there. That should do it for this side. Hopefully there's nothing goofy going on with the other side. It could be better, it could be worse, so you don't always wear perfectly evenly. They should pretty much. Nothing too drastic. Bella, what are you doing over there? Yeah, there shouldn't be any major differences, that's for sure. So let's hope not. It's funny how few tools are needed to do a brake job on something like this. A clamp, an Allen wrench, a hammer, a punch. I only need the wrench because of the lock nut on my air pressure thing. And a pry bar sometimes comes in handy. Not always necessary, but and a torque wrench. I'm gonna have to grab my torque wrench, go around and torque all these the proper tightness, put the covers back on it. I'm probably just gonna give this thing a good bath here and then call it done, I guess. Oh, I shouldn't leave out the other tools of something to loosen. You know, whether it's old, old school type wrench or a newer impact, makes life easy. Of course, a decent jack of some sort or another, and all the blocks, something to jack it up and put it on safely. I can't emphasize that part of enough. Then I wouldn't trust just jack stands. I did jump ahead and got the other side all done and back together. Well, I shouldn't say all done. It's the same state the other side is. I got my torque wrench set up. I go around and torque all these nuts to the proper tightness and put the covers back on it. Yeah, I'll probably get the things cleaned up soon. I kind of feel like going ahead and cleaning them up, but then when I do the back ones, I'll have the soap and all that, scrub brushes, all that stuff out. I should just wait and do it then. Oh, I did this work around side here in the yard. I was gonna do it out in the driveway, but there was a nest of bees in the siding. And I think they're all gone now. Wouldn't you know it? Oh, there's one. There was one. There's another one. Well, traffic has certainly slowed down. Maybe when I do the backs, I'll go ahead and pull it around here. It's been crazy, the amount that's been in and out of it. There's a third one. Anyway, yeah, that's been an issue. I don't want to park the RV here and the door get in and out, and the front's right here. When I park over here, I don't want to do that side of the brakes with a nest right there. I got bit twice in one day by them, and let me tell you, that thing, it hurts for hours. Of course, I did Google how to treat bee stings, and it said, well, get your fingernail or something and kind of dig the stinger out and ice it down. So I did that for the second one anyway, and I didn't suffer for near as long, but still, a bee sting, ouch. All right, so here I have my torque wrench all set up here, and so I'm gonna go out and torque those here in a bit. Before anybody says it, okay, torquing with an extension, there's an old myth. It should be on Mythbusters. Well, the myth was busted in the Snap-on Tool Laboratory, where there's an old room where old myth goes around it. When you use a torque wrench, because there's a certain amount of twist, kind of twist like you're wringing something out, has a certain amount of twist when you torque it, that you lose, for every inch, or whatever you have your torque wrench set at, that's not accurate out here, that you lose some of that. That's been disproven. That is not true. It's just like you had a socket on there. When you get that set, it applies a certain amount of torque. That torque is transferred, so that's all nonsense. So here's the brake pads, and you can see this is the driver's side. It definitely is a little bit thinner than the passenger side was. So they didn't wear perfectly even. And then same here. Here's the bigger pad that went on the one side of the caliper, and this is the other one that goes on the other side. So anyway, this passenger side, driver side, it's thinner. Passenger side, driver side, is definitely thinner. So for some reason, driver side wore a little bit more. It's kind of typical to find that. That's kind of what I've seen every time I did the brakes on the Bounder. The Bounder had disc brakes front and back, and they vary. There's always a little bit of variation. Nothing too crazy, but the Coachmen only has discs on the front and drums on the back, so I need to get busy. I think now that bee traffic has settled down a good bit, and I won't be working on the front wheel. I'll just pull the Bounder or the Coachmen down, so I'll pull it down. I'm done with the front, so it'll be okay. I'll be back here working on the back wheels, so yeah, and since that died down, I think it'll be okay to do that over here. And I would much rather have the thing jacked up, especially the back. Okay, over here in the driveway, it's just more level. Back here, it's a little sketchier doing the backs over here. So anyway, I'll get to that pretty soon. So I'm gonna finish up for now. Pretty dang warm out here. I'm gonna come out and torque those and put the covers back on it, and that'll be all done. Brakes, I've procrastinated this job so bad. I just don't like doing brakes anymore. I've done them a bunch of times over the years on a bunch of vehicles. I just can't get too excited about it anymore. So I've really put this off, but it does feel good getting the Coachmen kind of back into shape here. It's had a nice bath. It's all nice and clean again. What do? Change the oil, put fresh brakes on it. We'll be ready to go soon. It's just them back ones. Once that's done, I'm in pretty good shape.